Welcome to We Wellness Solutions. My name is Arlana. My mission is to help people to connect and communicate with animals in a deeper and transformative way, allowing for understanding and mutual healing to be part of our everyday lives. Hello, Arlana here. I want to expand a little bit more on developing our connection, communication skills with our animal companion. And one of the steps that I really think, moved me into a closer and deeper bond with some of my animal companions have been through the learning and the expression of my intuitive or my inner knowing. And that communication skill is something that does take practice for some people, and it was not something I understood the connection of or the ability to do from a young age. I knew there was something there. I knew I was connecting with them at a deeper place than just the physical and the emotional feelings. But over time and practice, I've increased my ability to communicate through this inner knowing. And I want to just help you to kind of take that step or give you some advice on how to start this journey if you're feeling the call to move in that direction with your animal companion. It can only be an amazing part of your journey to explore and to be in wonder of through connection with yourself, with other people around you, with animals, and with all living things. So if you're being called to this, I implore you, I encourage you to follow this instinct or this feeling to do so. So the first thing that I think is important to start doing is to notice if you have any like a feeling in the back of your mind, or just a knowing that, that something's going on, or that there's an issue, or, that you should go check the laundry, or you should go check, the door. Maybe you have a sense who it is that's phoning you before the phone rings. So these things are really powerful little, pokes at you to, use your intuition and discover what, where you're at and how you can develop this. The next thing I think you should do is to start documenting when these things happen. One thing, the whole scope, you hear it all the time now, is when you feel imposter syndrome. And one of the ways you can work through that and work past that is if you've been documenting it. I can't tell you how many times something's happened that's been so incredible. And I think, wow, I can't believe that I haven't been following this path. I haven't been, encouraging it, because I didn't feel comfortable. And I go back in my notebook and I read the things that I have documented that have happened. And for some reason, I've let them go. I haven't kept them in the forefront of encouraging me to move forward in my own inner knowing development. And so this is a very powerful thing, is document what you've been feeling, what you've been noticing, and how many times you're right. And what does that look like? What does that feel like? The difference between, just a guess and when it's more like you know it. And so a lot of people know these things through different types of knowing. It could be through just a feeling. It could be visualization. It could be hearing things. It could be, just a combination of all these things. And we all come into this on our own path and in our own way. But pay attention to that as well. What is stronger for you? Do you visualize things and see them in front of you? Do you get images in your head? Do you hear sounds? Do you smell something? Do you feel a presence? What is it that is the strongest way that you are receiving this information? The next thing, especially if you're trying to develop this with your pet in mind and trying to connect with them at this deep, deep level, is to practice mindfulness. You know, I even say this, if you have trouble sleeping at night, I know what our lives are like. You're so busy, 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 busy till all day long, all day long. And then when it's time to go up to bed at night, we have not given our mind a chance to process, a chance to go through everything we've been taking in all day long and express it and release it so that we can go to sleep. Because what's the biggest complaint when you go to bed? Oh, I couldn't stop thinking about this, I couldn't stop thinking about that. Well, we haven't given our brain time to process. So this is really important before we are going to go into a mindful state with our pet or go to bed or whatever, is we need to take some time to breathe and release the tension and the energy of the day and process some of the emotions and the things that are going to get in the way with us making that mindful connection with other people and with our pets. So mindfulness, being present, being aware, being truly, truly focused on either the breath or our pet, and be present with them. This is so powerful, and it does take some practice. It's hard not to get off on some tangent of something else that's going on during the day, or what's going on over here, or turn on the TV and just keep filling our brain and our mind up with all this information that isn't allowing us the time to process. So allow yourself that time to process. Allow yourself to be present and mindful before you try and make these connections. And they'll start coming in clearer and clearer because you're opening yourself up to being able to do that. Another thing you can do is connect with your pet in these quiet times. Is be grounded and confident. And I'll tell you this, just a very recent story. I'm working with an animal, a dog that I've been pet sitting, and was feeling a little anxious about her owners, her guardians being away. So I'm out in the backyard with her, and I've been talking to her and reassuring her and telling her everything's okay. And I decided to give her some time alone in the yard just to focus and just to, calm down. And while I'm doing this, I'm sitting there quietly, centering myself, grounding myself. And I think about her and sending her love and calm energy. And I notice that she looks up at me through the window. And at that time, I tell her, thank you so much for connecting with me. I'm so happy that I'm here with you. Everything's okay. And I look at her and I said, show me that you understand. Please sit. And she waited a second, and then she sat down right there in front of, through the glass. I'm thinking this through in my mind, and I see her outside the glass, and she sits down, and she doesn't look away from me. And I knew at that moment that I had established an intuitive connection with her. And it was wonderful, because then she started to trust me, and she felt comfortable with me, and it was much easier to work through any separation anxiety that she was feeling. It was a beautiful, beautiful experience. Another funny story, working with another little dog of my brother's, a beautiful little basset hound. And she had never, ever walked on a street where there were sidewalks. So for her to just stop, smell a little bit and just stop and go to the bathroom right there on the sidewalk didn't mean anything to her. She didn't know any better. She didn't know any different. So even though there's grass beside the sidewalk, she would just, go right there. So as we're walking, I start thinking, well, I've been connecting with her at home and talking to her in our walks. And I start telling her, you need to go do your business on the grass. You need to go on the grass. Well, next thing I know, she's turning her body and she's sniffing on the grass. And then when she finds us where she feels suitable, she would stop and go to the bathroom. But the challenge was, she is a basset hound. Her body's like 2 feet long. So even though her nose and her front feet are on the grass, her back end is still on the sidewalk. So she's still going to the bathroom on the sidewalk instead of completely on the grass. So, I encourage her. I tell her she's doing a good job, and we keep going. And then later on, or the next day, I start thinking, how can I help her to understand? So in my mind, I'm visualizing her with her whole body on the grass and 4 feet on the grass, because that's the only way I think of changing what it is I'm asking of her. Audit through voices in my head talking to her. I'm trying to explain to her what to do. So I decide to try it visually. I try to envision that she had all 4 feet on the grass before she went to the bathroom. And so we're walking down the sidewalk and I see she's sniffing like she wants to do her thing. So I think about it and I think of her actually standing all 4 feet on the grass, and she moved her front feet onto the grass and then hesitated for a moment, and then she kept stepping forward till her whole body, all 4 feet were on the grass, and she did her business. So it was just so rewarding to know that she understood me. And for me, it was such validation that, that I had established this deeper connection with her. So just 2 quick little stories about how it can just happen so easily with your animal companion, and yet it really just takes some time, some practice, figure out what works for you and how your best communication is with them. So I encourage you to try these things and see how it helps you to build this better relationship with your pet. Just as I said, a relationship with our animal companion should be based on trust and love. And if you can communicate with them in a way that they understand, a way that they're used to communicating, they're going to accept and trust you so much deeper than if you're just raising your voice and yelling at them and giving them commands and talking so fast they really don't understand what you're saying. You're not making an effort to communicate with them from the heart space, from your intuitive self, through your actions and your thoughts. That's such a profound connection you're establishing with your pet. So I encourage you, do these things, try them out, document it, and you'll be amazed at how quickly you develop this bond, and where it goes from there is wide open. I also want to invite you to stay on the lookout for my upcoming book, Guardians of Love, Tools to Transform Your Relationship with Your Pet. I'm hoping to launch here before Christmas of 2024, and I'm going to be sharing all this information from physical, emotional, and intuitive connection, communication, and collaboration with your animal companion. And I can't wait to share it with you. So, blessings to you in your relationship with your pet. Thank you for taking the time and energy to create this special bond with your animal companion. Until next time, blessings, Arlana. I hope you enjoyed today's talk. You can find more inspiring and informative articles on my podcast and in my Facebook group. You can find all the links when you visit my website, wewellness.solutions. Till next time, Arlana.